Hello everyone, as you know, I'm Shak of Art School of Motoring. A few of my learners have asked the question as to what kind of thing they should look out for when looking to buy a new car after passing the test. So here's a normal Auto Trader search. Obviously, the car that you're looking for will depend on your personal circumstance in terms of your budget, your age, etc., or what the purpose of the vehicle will be for. I'm just keeping it simple and looking for a similar car to the one that I teach in, which is a Toyota Yaris Cross. I've gone onto Auto Trader, put in a search, and there's some coming up really cheap. There's this one here, as you can see, 13,799. If I click into that now, and then this is the basic icon spec and gives you a description. So over here, look, you can see mileage. Quite high mileage for its age. It's only let's see what year it is. It's a 22 reg, so it's a 2022. See that? 85,000 is quite high. The average for a year should be around 12,000. So if that's a 3-year-old car, you'd be looking at about 36,000 miles. For me, that's not something I would recommend that you get. Coming out of it now, looking at the next one. Look, there's another one here. And then straight away you can see that it's a category S, and that's one of the reasons why it's at such a low price. Now, I wouldn't completely write off, pardon the pun, write off a written off car, because if it's at a good quality of repair, then it might just be as good as a straight car. But for me, category S is a bit too much, because the S stands for structural damage. So I would prefer getting a car, even if it did have previous damage, to be non-structural. I'd come out of that. Next one, it's another one with high mileage. It's on a 2021 plate, high mileage. Keep looking. Cat S, not interested. This one ain't too bad. It's a 22 plate, slightly higher mileage on a 55,000 miles. It's a decent spec as well. It looks like the design spec. I can see that by the alloy wheels. Price isn't too bad for what it is. And like I said, it all depends on your budget. I'd look through the description, and according to the description, there's no mention of any previous damage, but you can't take the word for it. So what I would do is, as you can see the reg there, we'll be putting some links up as well. You can go on to do a HPI check on this to see whether or not the information supplied here matches up to the reg. So there's loads of different sites that you can do a HPI check on, and then you could do like an MOT, a previous MOT check online as well. So I'll show you how that's done as well. You can check the previous history of a vehicle's MOT here. Bearing in mind, if the vehicle is less than 3 years old, it won't actually have an MOT. So I'm just going to put a random reg of a car that I could think of from the top of my head. Let's put a random reg, not the car that we were looking at. So FP08XMH. This is a car that used to have many years ago. Continue. And it tells you everything. So this particular vehicle that I'm looking at has a valid MOT till 2026. I sold this car like probably about 12-13 years ago, about 15 years ago actually. And then if you click on MOT history, wow, they've done quite a lot of mileage in it, but it tells you of all the previous MOTs. And what we're looking for is, if this was a car we were looking at, is whether the mileage matches up with what they're stating it is on the advert. You could even see, even though it passed an MOT, if there were any issues or defects that you can look out for when you go to see the car. This is a random car. It's not the car I was looking on Auto Trader, so bear that in mind. You can check a vehicle's history in detail if you want as well. There's Cars Check UK, or there's the official HPI check. If you go onto there, you could enter the reg. I'm not going to go through this because there is a small fee that you've got to pay. It's not too expensive though, but you can do stolen car check, insurance write-off, outstanding finance. You can you know, it's worth doing this. I mean, I'm not sure whether it costs £5 or £6, but it's worth it. Or if you wanted a thorough check on the car, mechanically, AA car check. You can actually get the AA to do a check for you. And to be fair, you don't need to go into HPI or anything. These guys will do all that for you for £6 on the AA, so that's pretty cheap. And if you wanted to do a vehicle inspection, there's an option for that as well. I can't remember what it was for. So look, you got prices here, like £99 for a basic inspection, £199 for a full check. So you'd book an appointment with them. Obviously you'd have to check with the seller as well to see whether it's a convenient time and date and arrange for that. If you're about to spend a few grand on a car, you'd rather get it properly checked. So on the next video, which I'll link up to this one, I'm going to actually show you some of the things you can look at for yourself. So I've got a few things that you can check yourself on the car before buying it. So make sure the engine is cold and start it. Listen for unusual noise. Look out for, or listen out for, the engine idling smoothly. Make sure there's no knocking, ticking or whining noises. No visible leaks under the car. Like, say, if you see any fluid directly under where the bonnet is, like you could have a leak on the oil or the coolant, etc. So look out for stuff like that. When you open the bonnet, which I'll do in a short while, look for any like belts and hoses. See if they've got any cracks. Look for any obvious damages that you can see yourself. If you're test driving it, make sure that even whether it's auto or manual, that the gears are changing smoothly when you're driving it. Make sure there's no warning lights on the dashboard. If you just put the camera on the display, I'll just show what a warning light would look like. Yeah, just do it. So yeah, look, I've started the engine. You can see all that, them lights illuminated. They should go off now. So the only two lights you're left with is the seatbelt warning light, and then you've got the parking brake light, which is quite normal. This particular car is a hybrid, so it doesn't always make a noise when it starts up. You can see there it's on EV mode. So some of what I said might not apply for a hybrid, but then when you take it for a bit of a drive, the petrol engine starts up and it makes a bit of noise. So if it sounds unusual, that's something that you would check. We're going to have a walk around my car in a moment just to see if there's any obvious signs we could look at for wear and tear. So under the bonnet, or some Americans like to call it the hood, you can see under here, ignore the spider webs, but generally everything looks like it's in good condition. You can check the engine oil. You can take this stick out and give it a clean. Make sure that the engine isn't too low or it doesn't look pasty. So when the engine's off, you could even open the cap here. Make sure the engine is cool and they're not been driving it. I'm not going to open mine because I've been driving it, so it's quite warm. But if it looks a bit frothy around here, then that's not a good sign. You can see the coolant is topped up, so the car is well maintained. Obviously that's your brake fluid. Don't worry too much about the wiper fluid, but if you just put the camera under the car, just make sure that there's no wet spots under the car, so there's no leaks or anything where the car's been parked. Back on the bonnet here, all these pipes and everything looks like they're in good condition, so there's no obvious signs of any issues. And as I said, this is a check that you'd be doing yourself, but obviously if you were to pay the professionals for it, they can give you that peace of mind. Walking around the car, just looking at the general condition of it. So the tyres look decent, okay, they look fine, there's no cuts or bulges, they've got the decent amount of tread on there, there's no signs of damage on the car's body. This all aligns up, so it doesn't look like it's ever been damaged before. So look for the spaces between the panels. See how that aligns up nicely. Just walk around it. And looking for the same things on this side. I could see there's like a little marker there where somebody might have scraped it but that could come off with a bit of polish. I wouldn't worry too much about that. But everything is a bargaining tool, so essentially you can use that. So I'd want to look at the interior to make sure it's in decent condition, because sometimes when a vehicle is showing us low mileage, there's some obvious signs where the mileage might have been tampered with. So this particular car, the mileage is, can you see that, 49292? Okay, that's fine. Let's take it back there, which is quite high, being it's a driving instructor car, so obviously it's going to be quite high for a 2022 plate. But the steering wheel is quite smooth. There's no like cracks or anything on there, so if this is all knackered, you'd expect the mileage to be quite high, and if it's showing as low, that would be a bit strange. You look at your seat, look for wear and tear on the seat. Everything looks nice, looks like it's in a good condition. Do you want to look at the back seat, see if it's got the ISO fixed points, if you're planning on bringing any children in there? Everything looks nice and clean. Okay, so I'm going to take the car for a bit of a drive now. Make sure that it accelerates smoothly, the brakes are working correctly, the steering doesn't feel heavy or weird. Make sure that when I'm going over the bumps, there's no squeaky noises, no knocking noises, and just check for any unusual smells or smoke during the drive. So let's check it out. Bearing in mind this is my own car, but if you were buying a new car, this is what you'd look out for. So let's go. So it's accelerating quite nicely. I'm just going to go over this speed bump, listen out for any unusual noise. Nice and smooth. And then I'm randomly going to press the brake now. I'm going to sharp brake it. That was nice and smooth, very responsive. Okay, I'm going to be really awkward with my steering now. I'm going to turn right very sharply, listening for any knocks and bangs. So I'm going to full lock it. If there was an issue, it'd be knocking away now. Seems fine. Yep, I'm happy with that. So I'm just going to park up and pause. So I hope you find that useful. I mean, you don't have to contact a big company like the AA or RAC. They're not paying me a commission or anything. But I just thought, you know, they're quite well known brands. But if you know a mechanic yourself, I'd advise you to take a mechanic with you to have a look at the car, because there might be things that me or you might not notice. It's good to see the recall history as well. So when you're checking for the MOT, the history, look for any recalls that might be outstanding from the dealership. For example, if there's a mechanical issue that the dealership are aware of, they might send the previous owner a letter saying that, you know, they need to bring it in for a recall. So you want to make sure that everything's been dealt with. Okay, so if you've got any further questions, please don't DM me. Leave some comments at the bottom of the video and I'll get back to you. The advantage of this is other people may have the same questions, so they'll be able to see the answers, and I'll try my best to answer any questions you may have. Yeah, so comment, like, share if you find it useful. Okay, thank you.